Just 10 cents a day helps fund local programs like Scenic Stops, Northwest Ohio Journal, and BGSU Brain Game. Watch, connect, explore.
Fort Meigs was originally constructed during the War of 1812, which was fought between the United States and Great Britain between the years 1812 and 1815. It sits on about 10 acres of land. You can put 9.5 football fields on the inside of the fort. Perimeter is about a mile long. It encompasses a large section of ground, 7 blockhouses, which are defensive buildings situated along the fort walls as added defense. There would be a cannon on the first floor, men with muskets and rifles stationed on the second floor. They were manned 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They were always ready for conflict. Fort Meigs' role was very important because it was the turning point in the Northwest. The events in this part of the country, in the Great Lakes region, leading up to the first siege, the Americans knew nothing but defeat. The first siege of Fort Meigs this ground is successfully held and defended by the troops that were garrisoned here. The British attempted a week-long bombardment of this fort, trying to just kind of beat it into submission, and they failed to do that. They failed to take the ground. And for the first time since the beginning of war, we had been at war for about a year by this point, and this was the first significant victory over the British Army, was at the first siege of Fort Meigs. Reenactments take place quite a bit here at Fort Meigs. One of the biggest ones in recent memory was our bicentennial anniversary event, May 3rd through 5th of this year. We had over 600 reenactors come through. Reenactments, I think, are very important because it lets people see history. It's so much better to see it, to smell it, to taste it, really, instead of just reading out of a book. It can be very plain, and it can be very hard for folks to really see the picture. It can be tough to imagine what things in the past were like, because our lives can be so completely different from the way that they were in years past. And the reenactments really bring that to life. It really is living history, and if it's done right, you can really understand and gain a greater appreciation of the past through reenactments.
My name is Aaron Gelb. I am the historical interpreter here at Fort Meigs in Perrysburg, Ohio. One of the reasons I got into this business is due to the fact my parents had done this before me, so I'm somewhat of a second-generation reenactor / interpreter. I believe that history is one of those things that it's a lot easier to actually learn when you live it and you see it, rather than just reading it in a book. It really comes to life that way. The way I view things now, since I've been a historical interpreter and reenactor, is much, much different than I had seen it in previous time. Now I actually get the idea of what it was like for the guys back then. During these reenactments, say you are cold, say you can be hungry at times. Other times it could be hot, it could be blistering hot. You want nothing more than just to take your uniform off, but due to the regulations of they had back then, you're forced to keep it on. I am actually dressed as a corporal in the United States Army during the time of 1813. This is in fact the early war uniform, due to the fact you can still see I have my taping on my chest. I partake in mostly different kinds of reenactments, different kind of sites all around America as well as Canada as well. Usually I go to about 7 events a year, which are a majority of battle reenactments in themselves. My favorite part is literally getting paid to do what I love to do. I get to study history, which is obviously what drew me here. I get to live the way that these guys did. I have ancestors who fought during the War of 1812. So I can really get a feel of what they went through as well. I come from a military background as well with my family, and so it just seems natural to be in this kind of place. There's definitely a passion for reenacting. So that could come from multiple different things. It could come from your passion of history. You could just absolutely love history and this is what you love to do. As well as mine is a combination of absolutely loving history and also the passion of being able to show respect to these veterans as well. Since the War of 1812 veterans are no longer here, this is our way of saying thank you to them. I do plan on reenacting for a very long time. However, my path does lead to military for me, and hopefully either during my time in the military or even after, I'm able to continue doing reenactments and possibly even expand to different time periods, not just 1812, something as Revolutionary War or Civil War as well. My role here, I feel, is very necessary to even just teaching about the history here. Some people, they'll come up to me that not really have much of a history background, and they'll leave here at Fort Meigs after talking to any staff member that's here, understanding history a lot better, hopefully inspiring them to go and study more about history, because I firmly believe in order to know where you're going in life, you have to know where you came from.
Scenic Stops is brought to you by WBGU-TV. Support great local programming by giving now at wbgu.org/pledge.